So, back in 2020, I proposed a Christmas challenge which would span the entire month of December. Everything got off to a good start, and then other things, flu, stitches, and major plumbing issues, sidetracked everything. So, the next year I tried to do it again, and then flu and major plumbing issues, and the death of my laptop put a crimp in my schedule. So, I was never able to finish either year. So now, after a gap of 2 years, I'd like to reissue the challenge. This time around, I'll be using some of the old challenge videos as well as some newly shot videos. So be warned, the older videos look and sound a bit rawer than the newer videos. Also, I'll be posting these challenge videos on Mondays instead of Fridays because they're not replacing new releases on Fridays. So since String 'em Up started, I've concentrated mainly on learning chords and playing through sample chord progressions and not necessarily learning songs. And that's mainly for copyright reasons. But sometimes it can be difficult to maintain interest when we're just playing through chord exercises and actually not learning specific songs. So how do we learn familiar songs without infringing copyrights? Christmas tunes. So here's the proposal for the project. Number one, it gives us access to public domain tunes. Number two, it gives us a goal. And number three, it gives us a deadline, which will help keep us focused and motivated. So here's the Christmas challenge for anyone who cares to take it on. Okay, so what's this Christmas challenge I keep going on about? Well, before we get into specifics, let me begin by telling you a story of a Christmas past. I'm pretty sure it was in 2005 that I began working at a local music store a couple of days a week to help out over the Christmas season. And during the lulls in activity, I would pick up this Crafter D27N anniversary model that was tagged at $950. And I had absolutely fallen in love with this guitar, and I'd play it until customers or deliveries came in and I had to get back to work. In fact, this is the very guitar that I chopped the strings off of in the transitioning to the ukulele video. Well, eventually Christmas Eve arrived, and the boss, just out of the blue, asked if I had $200 on me. At first, I thought maybe our drawer was off or we'd run out of cash, and I told him that I didn't. I was sorry. And he then said, well, too bad. If you did, I was going to let you take this guitar home, and we'd call it a Christmas gift. Needless to say, I was disappointed. So right at closing time, he said, Dave, bring me that Crafter. And I figured someone had called to claim it, and with a heavy heart, I handed it to him. And then he handed it right back to me. And he said, Merry Christmas, pay me $200 when you can. Needless to say, I left the shop that afternoon absolutely elated. So later that night, we all gathered at my grandmother's house for Christmas festivities, where all my mother's brothers and their families had assembled. It was my mom's whole side of the family. It was everyone. And I was so excited about my new guitar that while I showed it to my mom and dad, I told them the story about how I had gotten it. And my niece Sarah, who was, I guess, 3 years old at the time, saw the guitar and asked if we could sing Jingle Bells and Rudolph together. So we went to the other side of the house and we worked the two songs out. Well, after dinner, Sarah announced that we were going to perform. So I grabbed the guitar and we performed to rousing applause. Then an aunt I hadn't seen in 5 years or so asked if I knew Silent Night. Well, I thought about it for 2 or 3 seconds and launched into it in the key of G, and everyone in the house joined in singing. Someone else then suggested Away in a Manger, so I pitched myself in the key of D and began playing. Again, everyone sang along, and for the next 15 minutes, I took requests and fearlessly took on any Christmas tune I knew the first 8 bars of. And if I didn't know the rest of the song, I just faked it. And it was only after I had cased the guitar up that it hit me. This never, ever happens in real life. Impromptu caroling only happens on TV or in the movies, right? And the only reason I was able to make this sing-along happen is because of my knowledge of chord progressions and my ability to predict the next chord in songs I'm familiar with, but maybe had never played before. Now, I'm no Rick Beato, but I actually do just fine. Okay, almost a year later, a student of mine was struggling learning how to strum and sing at the same time. And I thought back to the previous Christmas Eve. Christmas songs. Everybody already knows the words, so all we'd have to concentrate on is actually playing. It all fit. We had a goal to learn 4 Christmas tunes, and as it was Thanksgiving break, we had a natural deadline, Christmas Eve, and she ended up learning 6 tunes that she could play and sing by Christmas week. Now, it doesn't really matter if she ever performed them or not. The point is, she met and even exceeded her goal by the deadline. So, what's our Christmas challenge? Well, let's learn 4 Christmas tunes in time for Christmas Eve. Think of how useful it could be. You could play for a Christmas church service, accompany carolers, be a hit at your company Christmas party, or you could perform with your 3-year-old niece or nephew for the entire family. In other words, having a few Christmas tunes in your back pocket can turn out to be quite handy. So, what do? Well, first, I'll pick 4 tunes. How about Jingle Bells in the key of C, Silent Night in the key of G, Away in a Manger in D, and let's say Feliz Navidad in G. And let's pick a bonus tune, Auld Lang Syne, also in G, just in time for New Year's Eve. And I think this is a pretty awesome list because it will force us to play in a variety of keys, meters, and strumming patterns. We'll go over the chord progressions and strumming patterns at several different difficulty levels, so everyone from beginner to veteran guitarists should all feel welcome to jump in. And for those singers who dabble in playing guitar, I'll offer some tips on singing and playing at the same time. So buckle up and we'll start with Jingle Bells tomorrow afternoon.